What are your biggest non-RG3 storylines and or question marks for this Thursday start of camp?
Well, there are certainly a handful of position battles and the typical things that we'll be watching during training camp. But I think the biggest non-RG3 storyline through the entire season is going to be how to spread the ball around with all these offensive playmakers. Now, you got Jay Gruden, someone who's been a successful offensive coordinator in the NFL. You got Robert Griffin III, who's had a good year at least once as a quarterback. And you have all these playmakers. And part of the job is going to be keeping them all happy. Now, Griffin said, I believe yesterday on the radio, that they're going to have to make the most of their chances because they don't know if they're going to get the ball 10, 12 times a game. You may get it 3 times, and you have to make something happen when you get it. I think the offense has potential to be excellent. Certainly incumbent on the offensive line to protect Griffin. It's incumbent on Griffin to not take those big hits to get rid of the ball. Sometimes throw it away, live to play another day. They have so many playmakers really at every spot on the offense when you talk about Jason Reed.
Jason Reed, there you go.
who's a playmaker.
He is a playmaker. He's a playmaker. He's a newsroom playmaker.
Jordan Reed, Alfred Morris at tight end and running back, and then the 3 wide receivers, the 2 new guys they brought in Deshaun Jackson and Andre Roberts. I think this has a potential to be a pretty good offense, and maybe that means one of your guys' questions are going to be on defense.
The other side of the ball. Yeah. Dan, give me your question marks going in.
This is what I'll say. I think that there's kind of 3 exciting figures, or 3 interesting figures who have joined the team in the offseason. I think one of them is Jay Gruden, but I don't know what you're going to really learn about him at training camp. I think one of them is Deshaun Jackson, but again, he's kind of a known quantity. But then I think you look at Jason Hatcher, who's probably the biggest defensive acquisition during the offseason. And, right away, he's a little bit older. I think he's 31.
32. He'll be 32 by the time I think the season starts.
Okay, and right away, in June, it's announced that he has to have this arthroscopic knee surgery. They said it's like a 4 to 6 week timetable. That would put him back, I think, 5 weeks. He's going to be right at the start of camp. So is he ready to go? Is he on the PUP list? If he is ready to go, how does he look? I mean, I don't know how many fans flock to training camp to watch a defensive lineman practice, but to me, the health of Jason Hatcher in terms of non-RG3 storylines is probably the most interesting thing. And I'm going to be at training camp on the first day, and I can't promise that I'm going to be staring at Jason Hatcher's knee the whole time, but I guess just his health and his readiness to go is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, if he's even going to be there. What do you think, Jason? What are yours?
Well, I can piggyback on what Steins just said about Jason Hatcher and take it a step further. The whole thought from, with the front office was we're going to franchise tag Orakpo to bring him back. We're going to sign Jason Hatcher, and we're going to make our pass rush so much better that it'll help the back end of our defense. Well, the back end of the defense has been, I don't know whether any other word than horrible for some time. And now you're looking at a situation where they bring in Ryan Clark, who, great veteran and all that, but how much does he have left? You're still looking at guys like Bakari Rambo, who didn't show he could tackle last year. You're hoping that Merriweather, now where he doesn't have to, be so much involved in coverage and be playing closer to the line, that he'll make better decisions. But he hasn't shown the capacity to make good decisions for a very long time. So I think when you look at it, this defensive backfield, this secondary, are they going to be any better? And what Steins was saying about Hatcher, look, they need Hatcher to be not just good, they need him to be outstanding.
Like the 11 sacks from last year.
Well,
does he have to be that good?
Well, no, I'm not going to quantify it with a number, but he's got to be a beast. Okay. Even if he doesn't get, I don't know if he'll ever get 11 sacks. Before that 11 sack year, 4.5 was the most he ever had, and 11 he had in a contract year. He's 32. He'll be 32 years old. So I don't know. I'm not going to quantify it with 11, but he has to be a beast. He has to be a guy who commands a double team. He has to be a guy who is so good, whether they're in a 4-3 or a 3-4 with Orakpo and Kerrigan, that you say to yourself, should I stop right now or should I go on?
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
That you say to yourself, okay, we're going to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand faster, so it's almost not going to matter who we have back there. That was kind of the thought process, so we're going to see how that plays out.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah,
I think it's unusual that going into a training camp, if you're asking for storylines, rookies wouldn't be mentioned at all. Obviously, it's a function of what they had in the draft. But, sure, the kid from Stanford is someone that you're going to want to take a look at.
Absolutely. Too. And the middle linebacker situation, another one to keep an eye on.